Hello, hello, welcome. Today I'm here with Michelle Walters, a fellow hypnotist, and we are talking misconceptions and myths about hypnosis because most people, when they come to me at parties, they ask really silly questions, but it's based on things they've seen in movies and based on stage hypnosis shows or even the people that, because I think we kind of, people get confused like, oh, hypnotists, psychics, or mentalists. And
Right. These are big topics and that not everybody really understands, right?
right, right. And yeah, so one of the it's like, no, I'm not a mentalist, I'm not a therapist, because that's another one when people come, it's like, nope, I'm not qualified to be your therapist. We aren't going to be dissecting your childhood, or they'll think that I'm a psychic because that's in the same category. Or another one too, and we'll go whatever kind of lights you up. But I've had it where a minister or a priest has banned them from coming to see me, which I think is super interesting when hypnosis was not mentioned biblically whatsoever. But people have an idea, and I get that too. I don't want to be controlled by somebody else or have a negative influence. Let's
Well, I
start
think it's
there.
one of these things that people just don't understand very well.
Yeah.
And we really haven't had the tools or techniques to be able to explain it. So I was recently brushing up on some CEUs I need to do for my hypnosis for my hypnosis work. And
What's a CEU?
continuing education unit.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
belong to an association that requires that you
Nice.
update your continuing
Yeah.
education periodically. And so as part of that, I was listening to a lecture by a famous hypnotherapist, who was talking about the history of hypnosis. And I was reminded, hypnosis has been around since the sleep temples of ancient Greece and probably Egypt.
Yeah.
It's something that's gone on for a very long time. It is a natural and scientific process that we really haven't had a lot of understanding of or explanation of. And as I see it, that's really growing these days as we have MRIs and we have more science and we have other ways of beginning to understand
Yeah,
what
there is
the-
actually quite a bit of
Mhm.
research, if people wanted to research out there, showing the effectiveness of hypnosis.
It's very effective. It's very safe because you can't be convinced of something in hypnosis that your subconscious doesn't think is plausible.
Yeah,
Um,
if we could convince people, um, like in 30-second hypnosis sessions, we'd be very wealthy.
yes, yes. And if we were psychic, we might be very wealthy that way too. But I think, so it comes up from time to time. I do a podcast, and my podcasting partner is an intuitive. That is the work that she
Yeah, it
does.
doesn't mean that hypnotists can't be intuitive.
No, but
Yeah,
they're two different circles, right?
yeah, yeah,
And and sometimes you'll meet a hypnotherapist who has an overlapping amount of that kind of intuition, and sometimes not so much. But the techniques and the practices and the rapport are really what makes hypnosis effective for
yeah, yeah.
clients. I've was thinking about it. I've had a few interesting conversations. I have a client who is a veteran. He used to be with the military and in nuclear safety. And when he first came to me, he said, my in my previous job, we were told not to go see a hypnotherapist because they could do something amazing or magical. And I was like, yeah, no, not so much. Um, I'm not going to be getting you to reveal secrets about the nuclear codes. That's not, you're not going to do it, and I'm not going to go there. But you do meet people who have incorrect ideas about what to expect with hypnosis. I mean, it doesn't happen to me every day, but it happens often. It happens often. And I think that some of it is, it's media. It's real fun to make a movie that you're going to
Oh,
hypnotize somebody to
sure.
quit
I,
a
I
job.
loved Office Space.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's fun
Yeah,
to think about those things. But in terms of reality and my client experience,
yeah,
it doesn't work like that. And I think also um, maybe it's sort of urban tales and legends will
yeah.
often make it sound like, oh, I can go see a hypnotherapist and in one session, boom, I'm fixed. And I've seen it happen. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it is certainly not the right model to be thinking of, right?
Oh my gosh, again and again. And that's a really good one to bring up, where somehow they think it's just going to take one session and boom, they're going to live happily ever after. I think of one woman who I did a session for weight loss. And I did positive suggestions, that she was going to figure it out. She was going to find her own way that felt satisfying and perfect and right for her and healthy. And whatever it was, she had certain criteria that she wanted. And so then I told her to listen to the recording, and she was faithful. She did. So I followed up with her about 3 months later. She was like, "Oh, I don't think the hypnosis worked at all." And so then I asked her the questions. Every single thing that I had suggested with her approval happened. And she had lost, I think at that point, I don't know, like 30 pounds. Because it's like, wow, you mean you didn't bop me on the head and then I woke up 30 pounds lighter? So I've seen that again and again. And I have seen, like, like one woman came to a demonstration that I did with fibromyalgia. And I did, I don't know, like a 20-minute demonstration, and she walked away completely free from fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
But
It it
that's,
it
but
does happen.
everybody starts at different places. And
It
it's
does
like
happen, but it is
it's
not
not the
something to
norm.
it is
And
not the norm.
she was open, she was receptive. It's like she already had the wisdom, just like for letting go of smoking. I have had people that boom, one session. But what I found though too is it doesn't necessarily take forever, where you live happily ever after. That we're going to be more successful if they do a certain amount of sessions, so that we make sure that we kind of go through that test of during stress. Is that
Right.
something to fall
Right.
back to?
I've had clients come to see me for something. We've done a ton of work in just a few sessions, and then they've needed to come back at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah, so normal.
Something bad happened in their lives and they went back to a bad habit. This has not been unusual in my practice. I just
Well,
think that
how often, how, like, I'll do 3 month to year long packages. Like, for instance, an alcoholic who, we're talking a woman who had lost her job because of alcoholism, lost her driver's license, was being threatened for jail time, as well as her boyfriend was threatening to kick her out unless something changed. So seriously, you think one session is going to do that? Or you go to the gym and oh, I'm in buff shape. I went once this year. So that it's
right.
like anything. I mean, we're I think masters of the power of the mind
Yep.
and what's potential and possible. So I won't even work with somebody that's an alcoholic I need at least a year,
Yeah.
because we need to be able to meet all those different situations and prove they can be successful.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
how about you? How do you work it out then?
I I
How
am
long do you typically see someone?
I typically see someone for a couple of months. um,
Okay.
a couple of months. And then we'll often take a little break and then do a check-in a couple months later and see how
Okay.
things are going. And sometimes they'll need to come back for another session or another couple of months, depending upon the problem. Um, but I think some people think that. because they've heard stories, and there are stories, there are true success stories
Uh-huh.
where, somebody had an amazing experience that really healed something. But for the most part, these some of the things that people come to hypnotists to see are habits or problems that have existed for often years.
Yeah, decades
And
sometimes.
when
Yeah.
there or decades. And when there are things that have been going on in your life for decades, odds are your subconscious isn't going to turn on a dime and decide to just instantly change
Well,
that.
and not only that, but it's a willingness too. It's how willing are you to change, to be that cooperative component? Because I've had people that it's like, wow, this seems so big. I don't think you could turn it around so fast. But they did because they had that openness and that willingness. And others where I think, oh, this is going to be super easy. And then it's like, whoa, that was a lot longer than I thought. Like one woman who came for stop smoking, and it's like months later. But what it turned out is it was enmeshed with drinking.
Yeah.
And so, but she eventually got to, and then relationship issues. But we eventually got to that point where she no longer wanted to have alcohol, and giving up the cigarettes was just kind of a natural part of it. Because,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I've
so
seen that too.
we don't know how, how deep does the roots go down and how far do they spread out. We don't always know as hypnotists. And
No. No, we don't always know, and clients don't always know. You know,
yeah,
clients will think maybe something came from a particular problem, and then, we'll find out in hypnosis that no, this is related to something completely different, you know.
yeah, yeah,
And when it's related to something completely different, um, you might not be able to attack it in the original plan, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I've also had clients who've come to me and they'll be like, "Hey, I got lots of stuff for us to work on. I want to lose weight. I want to stop procrastinating. I want to write my book, and I want to do this." And it's like, "Okay, we can do all of those things, but we're not going to do all of them today. We're
Yes.
going to have to figure out how do we create a plan to do this, because
Yeah.
your subconscious mind has a lot going on, and we can't confuse it by trying to do 7 things at once."
Yeah.
So,
Well, and there's a lot of, yeah, work to be done, and to go through in order to get the results that they want, and then to prove it out to themselves too. Just like anything, change is incremental.
yeah,
That
yeah.
there's always deeper layers that you can go to. And I have clients that have worked for years and years because they love the fun of, wow, I accomplished this. And what else can I do? How much further can I take it? So it's really common for my clients to sign up for year-long packages and keep renewing again and again.
Beautiful.
And I think people don't, it's like, what? Or people are surprised that hypnosis isn't just for stop smoking or losing weight. I think those are
Right,
the two. And
right.
I know you do, some of your specialties are like helping people with success in their business.
Mhm.
And I don't know how many people think of that. I have worked with people for like uh golf improvement, musicians, violinists, and
Neat.
different things like that. But you work with people in their
I
business
work with
to help them
people
be
in their on their
successful.
business side too. Yeah. So, I've used hypnosis very successfully to help people with time management problems, right?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I've used it for procrastination,
Oh,
right?
I've done. Yeah, I mean,
Procrastination is pretty common.
that's where I would, if I was gonna, if I had an issue like procrastination, I would go to see a hypnotist.
I've used it with people for work relationships, right? That are
Oh,
trying to
I've done
kind of
that one
figure out,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to use it for work relationships. And oh, and one of my favorite uses is for creativity. I have a current client who is working on a book, and she's a very linear thinker.
Uh-huh.
And the our sessions are really helping her to embrace more of her creative side that
Oh, I love
she yeah,
that.
it's so
Yeah, I've had that too with where somebody had writer's block. And then also for artists to, it's like kind of let it loose and let themselves uh play and enjoy and let
oh,
it
and I've used it for
go.
sales,
Oh, interesting.
helping people with confidence in sales.
Ooh, I like that. I don't think I've ever done anything like that. So tell me a little more about that.
Hypnosis for sales. Um, I've done not so much long-term sessions on that, although I'd love to find the right client who needed me for that. But helping business people who, I mean, even if you know it's your job, not everybody likes to pick up the phone and make the phone calls, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
hypnosis can be really helpful for visualizing that success,
Oh,
for
okay. I guess I haven't done, I've worked with
I'm sure you've done
coaches.
stuff like this. Yeah.
Yeah, with coaches and just improving. Yeah, like one woman, she went from zero clients to she sold like a $10,000 package. I guess I didn't even really think of that as sales, but yeah, yeah,
Absolutely, it's sales.
yeah.
Absolutely, it's
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah, so that oh my gosh, people,
See, there's a lot. There's an awful lot here,
there's
really.
so much support and help. And yeah, and what I love is about hip, and we'll kind of wrap this up here, but one of my favorite things about hypnosis, as opposed to working with a coach where you've got to, do these exercises. To me, I'll give people a recording and you basically relax into your well-being, because when it's like you change your mindset, you naturally are inspired to take those actions. And then it's like you're open and receptive to the opportunities, so that like with your sales call where they'll just miraculously find themselves wanting to make the phone call or speak with their dentist. It's like it was just like the right time. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Something that had been hard to do becomes pretty easy to do.
yeah,
And that can be, that can really grease the wheels of business or stopping a bad behavior or making changes. One quick word, and then I'm happy to
okay.
wrap this up. I do want to speak to, is it the same thing as therapy? People want to know, is it the
Oh
same thing
yeah,
as
yeah,
psychotherapy? And I see similarities, but nobody who sees me is going to mistake me for their counselor or their therapist. It's a different process. And
yeah,
they can both work together on an issue or on separate issues. I've had people going to see a therapist about one thing and then they're seeing me about something else, right?
yeah.
Um, but it's a different methodology and you just should try
So would you kind of equate it then where somebody like for their health, they have a therapist, and then they have a nutritionist, and they have a personal trainer for the gym. It's like just kind of what the heck,
It's finding the
do
right team. It's finding the right
yeah,
team that
yeah,
a particular person needs. Maybe they need a nutritionist, maybe they need a trainer, maybe they need mindset work, which
yeah,
falls in my
yeah.
category. I
Well,
deal
and
with
I
a
kind
number
of
of
feel
clients.
like we're almost like the first layer maybe to go to, because from there it's like we can open you up to your clarity and your insight and your wisdom, so that you know who to stay away from, or you just have more insight and what to say yes to, so that yeah, even if I had a health issue, I would go to a hypnotherapist first. I do my own work for myself too, but wow. Uh
No, I've begun
amazing.
I've begun mentioning this in some of my training work is that hypnotists see other hypnotists. There there
Oh,
is there is
absolutely.
work that everyone can do for themselves, and then there is work where having a professional guide is essential.
Yeah, because you can
It's
be so close
essential.
to something, it's really hard to sometimes see it for
Well, and
yourself.
you can't ask yourself questions objectively. You just can't, and so, for those problems, you're gonna have to have help from someone else to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you for interviewing me today, Sharon. It was fun to
Yeah,
get
and
into
just
this.
so to end this, we are doing a upcoming virtual summit. It we both work with guys, but this is in particular for women, the Prosperous Women Summit, and it's Wednesday and Thursday, April 23rd, 24th. They both go all day. We've got 5 different speakers. Myself, I'm going to be doing bad habits and addictions and teaching self hypnosis. Michelle is going to be doing harmonious relationships and having improved success within your business. We have Jean Andrus, who is going to be doing menopause and helping people get a good night's sleep. And then we have Kimberly Lynn, who is going to do dangerously confident sessions. So, something for everyone. Check below in the description and you'll see a link that you can sign up. So, hope we see you there.
Thank you.
All right.